Well, hello everybody. Today I'm going to make Buxton Pudding, which is a pudding from Derbyshire in the United Kingdom. And Buxton is a small spa town in Derbyshire, in the High Peak area of Derbyshire. And it's been settled for thousands of years, but sort of in the 18th and 19th century, it became very popular because it was a spa town. It had mineral water accessed into the town centre, and they had some spa baths created there. In fact, the Romans even created spa baths as well. And Buxton is a very picturesque little town. It's based on the city of Bath, so Buxton also has a crescent of houses similar to the Royal Crescent in Bath. It also has an opera house and various other things, and for a town of only about 23,000 population, that's quite significant. It's a lovely place to visit if you get a chance. But anyway, its proximity to another Derbyshire town, Bakewell, means that this Buxton pudding will be no surprise to be very similar to a Bakewell tart. The difference, of course, is that a Bakewell tart uses ground almonds to make a frangipane to fill the pastry case, and the Buxton pudding is more frugal. It uses breadcrumbs in beaten egg, butter and sugar to make a filling. Both the Bakewell tart and the Buxton pudding have a layer of raspberry jam spread over the pastry case as well. So it's similar to a Bakewell tart but different as well, and it's not difficult to make. So I'll go on to the ingredients, and for the pastry case I have 200 grams, which is 1 1/3 cups based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup of plain flour. I have 100 grams, 7 tablespoons and just a little bit more of cold unsalted butter, which I've cut into cubes, 40 grams, 3 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of caster sugar, and I have here 1 medium egg yolk, which would be large in the USA, and I've put that into 30 millilitres, 2 tablespoons of cold water. And I'm simply going to beat that together. And then for the filling I have 175 grams, which is just about 10 tablespoons of raspberry jam, and mine is seedless. I have 150 grams, which is 5 1/4 ounces of white bread with the crusts cut off, and I'm going to process those into breadcrumbs. 150 grams, 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar, 150 grams, which is 10 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of softened unsalted butter cut into cubes, and 3 medium eggs, which will be large in the USA. So as I said, the first thing to do is to turn the bread into breadcrumbs, and then we can use the same processor bowl to make our pastry. So I'll put the bread into my processor bowl of my immersion blender. And I'm simply going to blitz that until it turns into breadcrumbs. And that's good enough like that. So I'm going to put that back into its bowl. And if there's a couple of larger pieces, I'm not going to worry about it at all. And then into the processor bowl I'm going to put my flour, my sugar and the cold butter. And I'm going to pulse that until it resembles coarse breadcrumbs. So that's good like that, and I'm going to pour in my egg and water, and I'm going to pulse that until it starts to clump together basically. And that's come together into a dough. So I'm going to wrap that up in plastic wrap, and that's quite wet, but it would be fine. I'm going to flatten it like that into a rough disc. And I'm going to wrap it and chill it for about an hour, and then I'm going to come back and roll it out. So I'll chill it in the fridge for an hour, then I'll come back and we'll roll that out and line a 23 centimetre 9-inch tart tin. So I've chilled my pastry and I have put it onto a floured surface, and I've rubbed some flour on the top as well. And I'm going to roll that out so that I can line a 23 centimetre or 9-inch round tart tin. And I think that's probably large enough. So I'm going to roll that up onto my rolling pin and carefully lay it over the top of my pan. And then I'm going to gently push it in. And press it down around the edge. And with that in the tart tin like that, I'm going to prick it all over with the fork, all over the base. And then I'm going to take some parchment paper, which I have scrunched up, and I'm going to put that into the pastry and press that around as well. Like that, and I'm going to fill that with baking beans, or in my case I'm going to use rice, which I have used previously for the same purpose. And spread that to fill the pastry. And then I'm going to put that back into the fridge, and I'm going to chill it for a further 30 minutes, and then as it chills I'm going to preheat my oven to 190 degrees Celsius, that's 170 Celsius with a fan, 375 Fahrenheit, and after 30 minutes I'm going to put this into the oven and I'm going to bake it for 15 minutes. I take it out after 15 minutes, carefully remove the rice and the parchment paper and put it back into the oven and bake it for a further 6 minutes until the pastry is cooked through. Then I take it out of the oven and I will come back and we'll put the raspberry jam in and make our filling to go on top. So I blind baked the pastry and removed the parchment and the rice and baked it for another 7 minutes. Then I took it out and I've trimmed off the excess. So I'm going to put my raspberry jam into the pastry and I'm just going to spread that over the base. So that's good enough, and I'm going to set that to one side. And to make the filling, I'm going to put the butter and the sugar into a large bowl, and then I'm going to cream those together until they're pale and fluffy. And that's good enough. So then I'm going to add in the eggs, and I'm going to add those in one at a time and beat them each time until it's fully combined. So I've beaten those eggs in, and then I'm going to add in the breadcrumbs, and I'm just going to fold those through. I could beat them through, but I'm going to fold them through just to get those mixed in. And that's good like that. So then I need to put that into my tart case, and to do that I'm just going to put little blobs of it all the way round and then spread it over, trying not to mix too much of the raspberry jam into it. And then I'm going to try to level that off. And that's good enough. I spread it right up to the sides as much as I can. And I'm going to put that into the oven, but at this stage I have reduced the temperature of my oven to 160 degrees Celsius, 140 Celsius with a fan, 325 Fahrenheit. So this is going to go into the oven, and I'm going to bake it for 35 to 40 minutes until it turns a nice sort of brown colour on the top and the filling is cooked all the way through. Then I'll take it out of the oven and leave it in the tin for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes I'll take it out of the tin and I'll come back and we'll have a taste of it. I baked my Buxton pudding, but I actually baked it for 50 minutes. I took the recipe from the Sainsbury's website, and it said to bake for 30 to 40 minutes until it had gone golden brown on top. Well, I baked mine for 50 minutes, and it took that amount of time for it to set and to turn a nice colour on the top, and it looks as though it's baked up quite nicely. So I'll show you what it looks like. So I left it in the pan for 15 minutes before I took it out, and as you can see, it's baked up. It rose up, and then when it came out of the oven, it just sank and became level again like that. And I have cut a slice and I put some custard with it. So I'll have a taste of the slice that I've cut. And it's still warm. That is very, very tasty. It has quite a nice texture to it. And the pastry is nicely cooked. A lovely flavour of the raspberry jam comes through as well. So this is actually a very simple recipe, and it's not an expensive recipe in terms of using the breadcrumbs rather than the almonds. That does of course affect the flavour somewhat as well, but very, very nice indeed, and perfect with custard. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.